Hello, everyone. I'm Rachel Chamness at Sound Waves Heal. Welcome. Hold on. Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm just starting in. Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Chamness. I'm at soundwavesheal.com. I am a shamanic channel and mentor, and I help lightworkers work in higher dimensional realms, not just for healing, but for channeling beings of light in higher dimensions. And of course, I mainly work with trance channeling, but I help people channel in all different kinds of ways and connect to all kinds of beings of light in many ways, from my membership to private sessions to classes and courses. And I do have a lot of Black Friday specials for the beginner or the advanced who wants to learn to trance channel. So be sure to check that out. And as part of that, I just wanted to show you about that advanced special, which is my trance channeling, my tag trance is what I call it. Trance channeling mediumship class, level 1. So I do have a signature class that's all the levels, but I do also have a level 1 class. It's a 6-month class. And the reason that I do it that way is to make it more accessible. You have a lot of time between classes. We do one type of guide every month, and you have 2 live classes in a program. And then you also have the tag light workers. Hi, everyone. I see Heather, Frankie, Jessica. Morning. That comes with it, the tag light workers. And why do I teach it in 6 months? Because learning trance channeling in a weekend or a week or 2 or even 5 weeks, like I used to do it, doesn't help everyone. There are many levels to things that come up in really believing what you're doing and learning discernment and learning all the protection and everything that goes with it. And so I teach it in this 6-month container where you have 2 lives a month and you have plenty of opportunities to practice group and one-on-one help, all that stuff, because it just is a safer option. And there's nothing to really worry about with trance channeling. Trance channeling is when you let the being speak through you, because even if the worst happens and you end up channeling a false guide or something that's not of the light, well, then you learn. And the way that you learn is because I'm always there. We're there twice a month. We're there to help you. And sometimes your spirit guides bring you to these things to learn. And as long as you have a mentor or a helper or someone looking out for you to make sure that you are channeling correctly in class, then you can learn these levels of discernment. And to be honest, they're not that difficult. As long as you don't get stuck in your ego or that you don't use channeling to fill a hole in your self-worth, then, you know, it's pretty easy to tell. So I don't want you guys to be scared. So when I do trance channeling, the level 1, we just work with spirit guides. So, you know, 99% of the time, there's never any problem. I just mention that because I know people worry about that kind of stuff, but it's really not like that. Holding your spirit guide in for trance channel is actually harder than getting stuck. That's another thing that people worry about. Like, what if I trance channel my guide and then I can't get them out? And it's like, I'm taken over. Well, that is not going to happen. It is much harder to hold them in place while you let them speak through you. It's a lot of concentration on your end doing that while they're talking than it is, you know, I mean, they don't get stuck. You'll see. That's part of what we work on, is like holding them there for a longer time and getting them to give messages to others versus messages to yourself. So when you first start trance channeling, the beings of light will give you messages, especially your spirit guides. They have so much to tell you. And like I said yesterday, that can be a little frustrating because at first they're not telling you anything super interesting. They're like, oh, trust and believe. And now we love you and we're so proud of you. And it's nothing really exciting, although we need to hear those things. And then later, as you practice and practice, you can start to bring them forth for your sessions, for your clients. That's what I did. I started with my guides, and then I learned to trance channel other people's guides. And that's in a higher level of trance channeling class, which I teach in my signature program. So today I wanted to bring forth my Doctor Teacher Guide and tell you a little bit about the Doctor Teacher Guide. because you have one too. So these are the inner band of spirit guides. These are 5 positions of guides that everyone has, and you have at least one in each place. You might have more than one, or you might not. They are with you since birth, and they're also different incarnations of themselves. Sometimes when people think they have 2, it's really the same one. For instance, when I bring forth my master teacher, which I think is Saturday in the Saturday Live, it's Archangel Ariel, but she first came to me as Ruth from the Bible. So I had Ruth and Ariel for a while until I understood that Ariel was the higher incarnation of Ruth. So that happens too. When you're a kid, you might have stuffed animals, or you might have an invisible friends, or you might have some sort of spirit that's with you, that's helping you, that's like something like cuddly, like it might be your doll or your teddy bear, and that you see them as a bear, or even people have told me like it's a big friendly spider, things like that, which, you know, not friendly sounding to everyone, but maybe to some kids, or like your stuffed unicorn, you know, and these spirits in there, that's why they seem so real to kids. It can be their spirit guides. And then as we upgrade our spirit guides, you know, they become something else. And it is important to upgrade your spirit guides pretty often. We do it in class. But I also have a blog post on it at soundwavesheal.com. You can search in there for upgrade spirit guides. It'll come up. So we do upgrade them as we go. So today, my doctor teacher and your doctor teacher, what they do is they are also called the Doctor of Philosophy, and they are your teacher guide. So they teach you what you need to learn. So they help guide you to people who can help. For instance, if you felt really drawn to one of my classes or drawn to me for class, that could be your doctor teacher pushing you there, you know, like, hey, like a lot of times people say, I don't know how I found you. It's like, I just found you and then I took the classes. I feel like I was led. So, or to someone else, obviously. And you might feel like a book falls off the shelf and you're like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about this, and here's a book I forgot I had that talks about that thing I wanted to learn, you know. Or you might just feel really drawn to do something where you find there's something to learn there and you want to do that, and so you know they guide you to these things. They are often well, they can be anything. One thing I love to teach is that there really are no rules. The way that I taught trance-channeling, there were so many rules, and I found that some of them were false and not all of them were great. For instance, you know, where they stand or who they could be. There were some rules that I've thrown out because after teaching, you know, I think I've taught 150 people how to trance channel in the last several years. You know, I see that some of these are not, they're not exactly what I was taught. So in my teaching, I always say, well, throw out the rules. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who they could be. And they also tell a story about you. So yeah, Judy calls them ascension guides. You can call them, some people call them soul guides. I call them spirit guides. I use the word ascension guides for any guides that come in to help us with ascension, like all the beings, the high beings of light, like masters and angels and deities and all that come to tag light workers, for instance, which is for ascension, to help you with ascension. But you can call them that too, because that's what they're here for. They're here to just help you, and you're supposed to be ascending. So that's exactly, you know, so any words, they don't care. Okay. So my doctor teacher is a shaman, and this actually has a lot of significance for me, but I didn't figure it out until later. Her name is, she first came to me, actually, let's start there. She first came to me as an elephant. The first thing I saw of her was just this elephant's eye, very wrinkled, gray, very close up. And then I saw this ornate scene where I was like riding an elephant, some sort of past life. I was getting married. It looked very, I don't know, I was wearing a sari and like a very colorful veil. Everyone was wearing colorful saris. So it was very cool. And I was riding on this elephant. And then, so I just thought she was an elephant. I asked her what her name was. She said, Mother. My name's Mother. Everybody calls me Mother. So I called her that for years. And then eventually she told me her name is Ezthra, which is a little hard to say in English. She's not from Earth. But I call her Mother Ezthra, and she's my doctor teacher guide. So I would like to bring her in for you and trance channel her. Again, that just means I'll let her talk through me If you want to ask her questions, I'm sure she'll talk about being a doctor teacher and how you have a doctor teacher guide. But if you have questions, you can post them. I'm seeing live in the Side Chicks group and live on all my channels here, Soundwaves Heal. So I can see everyone's comments. Just go ahead and ask. Yesterday I couldn't see all the comments, but today I can. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Mother has to say to you. And I'm sure she'll bring you a healing too, because I love to do that. I am pleased to be among you all who are watching now and in the future. Time is a tricky subject between me as a guide and you on the earth plane experiencing time in a linear fashion. But yes, a doctor teacher guide is your philosopher, your philosophical helper. And your doctor teacher helps you find your way by bringing you to helpful people, places, and things, classes and courses, or places or people who can help, or places that lead to people who lead to classes, who lead to discoveries, who lead to other things. So it's not just about learning with a class, but also learning from your own helpers or your past lives or your higher self, a learning and aha moments. This is all what we are in charge of. And I'd like to say that your spirit guides and your doctor teacher guide has a past with you in a past life at least once and knows you from some place. Maybe not a past life. You may know your doctor teacher from beyond the veil when you are in spirit or in your highest self or soul or fragment of God, or however you'd like to think of your highest self or spark of your soul. And as this, we may know you, or you may know your doctor teacher, and have decided to embark on this life together. So you are never alone, and these guides in your inner band have been with you since you were born and since before you came. There was a time where we all sat down and discussed how the life would go, looked at soul contracts, and decided what the different interventions would look like when things happen, when big things happen. They're likely interventions you have put in place in case you don't succeed in understanding the message at one fork of the road. Then you will have another intervention to help. Sometimes interventions are people or messages, and if you continue to ignore the message, it gets stronger and stronger, and then perhaps something to shake you up, to have you really get the message that is coming to you, that you must learn, for you have put all of this in front of you. What will you learn in this life? What will you go through? What do you want to accomplish? What feeling do you want as a human being? Because human beings in this third dimensional and fourth dimensional life, there's so many feelings and sensory things. And so we have many of those experience layered in as well. Those are a little more of the fun things that you might put in there. But as a soul and a spirit, you're often thinking that it is going to be a riot of fun. You see this life ahead and you say, oh, it will be so fun. Right. And then you may come into the density and realize, oh, this is much harder than I thought it would be. And when that happens, remember, you are surrounded by those who have decided to take this leap with you and to help you in every way. Now, I would just like to give you a healing and a clearing to help you with this day, for you to see the world through the miraculous eyes of your higher self in a way that reminds you that this is an adventure to be had, and that every decision is bringing you on another path, which always can be brought back to where you're headed. The long way or the short way does not matter, but you are just flowing and solving your problems in a way that feels more interesting than feeling put upon. We want to look at the life. This is an adventure to be had, not something put upon me. And here you are. Okay, that was Mother Ezthra. And I hope you like that channel and healing. She's very interesting. I forgot to tell you what she looked like. You know, I told you that first I'd seen the eye of the elephant, and I thought she was an elephant for a long time. And then once I got, you know, a little more comfortable with having spirit guides and communicating with them, then then she transformed to a woman. She looks like a little old woman with dark skin, lots of wrinkles, just like the elephant. She has so many wrinkles. She's very small. She wears a bright red, well, not bright, but a red kaftan, like sort of ceremonial dress and hat. She says she's from another realm, so not from Earth. Yeah. Heather says, I often see large eyes when I close my eyes. Must be a spirit guide very close. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the Doctor Teacher Spirit Guide? Now, if you want to learn more about spirit guides, I have a free resource, soundwaveseal.com/spirit guides. It'll bring you to the hub where I have all my videos, which is learn.soundwaveseal.com. And you can sign up for the Spirit Guide course, and it has a masterclass all about all the guides, how to communicate with them, and how to have spiritual boundaries. And then it also has like a unicorn attunement for flow and luck with the Archangel Metatron. And then there's, I think there's a sound bath in there with Carrie Mook, one of my master practitioners and beautiful friend. And then there's also a lot of meditations from Tag. So it's still kind of like a Tag Lightworkers mini sample. So you can sort of see a few of the things, although there's almost 1,000 videos in Tag. And not to be overwhelming, because a lot of them are, you know, a lot of them are the lives that we have every week. So just are still there in case you go into a program and you're like, oh my gosh, this is everything. I need to know everything about Palladians, or everything about the goddesses of light, or everything about Melchizedek or something. So you can go through all of it and learn just more and more from all the master practitioners. So, and then, you know, we have a strategy when you join of how to go through it. But the best part is the current month, because that's always where we're at now, and Ascension's always very helpful. So, okay, so Heather says, guess I'll have to start asking who they belong to, or to back up so I can see them. Oh yeah, the eyes. Yeah, go into meditation and ask them. My doctor guide kindly looks like a little Monopoly man. Does he have the monocle? That's what we need to know. Right? So again, there's 5 guides, spirit guides, and I'll be live all this week. If you didn't see yesterday's, then please watch it. It's the Joy Guide Polar Bear. He's so silly. I did pin it at Soundwaves Heal in Facebook. And if you're in YouTube, then there is a playlist of all of these. So you could just, you know, follow that playlist if you want to. Tomorrow, tomorrow, you know, is my big day where I'm live a lot. So I've just added to it because I don't know, I'm nuts. So at 10 o'clock, I will trance 2 guides for you. One is the Protector guide, who's in the inner band, and one is the Gatekeeper, which is a really good, it's just a really good spirit guide to know who's monitoring your channeling gate. And that's part of what I teach in level 1. So I'm just going to channel them both. And then, of course, that's 10 o'clock EST. And then, of course, at 11, I give readings with my Oracle deck with the Fae and Elementals. That's it back there. And then at 12, I go live again. I'll be talking about I think it's called the #1 tool for light workers and healers, for healers. The #1 tool for healers, something like that. I forget the perfect name we came up with, me and my spirit guides, but that's what I'll be talking about on Thursday. I think you'll really love it. So you'll catch me quite a few times, maybe on Thursday, tomorrow. Anybody else have a question before I go? I'd love to answer it. About spirit guides. Okay, Mel says, I would love to know who my true benevolent light guides are, please, and would love a healing. Okay, Mel. Oh, yeah, you can learn who they are. I give, there's a Meet Your Joy guide meditation in that spirit guide pack. That's free on my site under courses. And I can always help in a one-to-one session, or you can learn to channel them and trance channel them. We learn, I think, 5 or 6 different ways to channel in my course, Tag Trance, which is on sale, 30% off on Black Friday. And there's a wait list that will keep you in the know and give you a bonus and an early sign up. If you sign up first, the first 10 people who sign up for that get a free 30-minute session. And for my beginners course, or my beginners package, which is another Black Friday, really great 50% off deal, the first 5 people get a mini session too. So you guys should check that out. Check out my emails if you haven't seen it, or my events page on my soundwavesheal.com. So what is the simplest way to slip into trance channeling? There's no simple way. Like I said at the beginning, if I taught you trance channeling, you could probably do it once with me, but all the things that would come up would prevent you from doing it. I've taught it in 5-week classes before, and still people weren't convinced they were doing it. And plus, you need to learn a lot of discernment and learning how to deal with protection. There's a lot of protection involved. It's really layered, important things that you need to learn. I just posted about it on Facebook, but I see you're on YouTube. I'll try to post that on YouTube too. But I think it's really important that you learn all the things. Otherwise, it could get out of hand. So we want to do it safely and the right way. And that's how I teach it. So it's a longer class than that. Okay, thank you all so much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.